Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you, Chris?
Doing great.
Great.
So, you and I met last week at an event that you hosted, or you were one of the guest speakers, and I
Right.
was so impressed with what you had to say. I figured let's get together and get to know each other better. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, where you came from, and how you got to do what you're doing today.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you having me. It was great meeting you at the event. And how I got here was I grew up in Detroit. I moved here in 1985, but I've always wanted to be in the men's clothing business. So when I was 15 years old, I told my mother one day I'd have my own clothing company. I moved here, started a small detailing business, and I was delivering a car to one of my clients. And I walked in his office. There was a guy in there with a tape measure, measuring him for clothes. And I asked him, I said, "Tom, who was that guy?" He said, "That's the person that takes care of my wardrobe." So I immediately said, "That's what I want to do." I grabbed his business card, went to work for the company, and got in the clothing business in October of 1993.
Wow. So I understand that you also worked with some famous people in the clothing business. You rubbed elbows with people at Nordstrom, which has a great brand,
Right.
and then also tailors that are independent but also made a name for themselves. You want to share with the audience about those folks?
Yeah, I was really fortunate. I had a buddy of mine that worked in the men's department, and this was back in 2002, 2003. And Alan Flusser had just written his book called Dressing the Man, which is the Bible in the men's clothing business. And he was doing his book signing. He was going throughout all the Nordstroms in the country to do his book signing, and he was coming to Atlanta. And he said, "Mark, how would you like to give the presentation with Mr. Flusser?" I said, "I'd love to." So they talked to a few other guys, and I ended up being fortunate enough to give that presentation with him. And we talked about the principles of dressing well, and that's kind of what put me on the map. So after that, I was also asked to be the wardrobe consultant and image consultant for CNN and Turner Broadcasting and all their on-air media talent. So that's how I landed that job, and so that was really the beginning of my career.
Great, great. So you might want to share with the group why it's important to why is it important to be dressed well?
Yeah.
No matter what business you're in.
Right. So the first thing that I say, the first question I asked at the seminar is, if you were to walk into a room of your peers, same social status, same level of education, same career competency, same income level, what message do you want to send when you walk in the room? Is it power? Is it trust? Is it authority? Is it fun? Whatever that adjective is, you can send that message using what you're wearing. Now, I tell people what's really important is what's on the inside, your heart and your personality and who you are. But unfortunately, we live in a world that judges us by our appearance. But the good news is you can control that narrative by what you're wearing. And the whole reason for dressing, number one, is to lead the viewer's eye towards your face. One of the reasons I got the position at CNN and Turner Broadcasting was that they knew I understood that the whole point of dressing is to lead the viewer's eye towards your face. So what you're wearing should be so well put together, it blends into the woodwork, and people automatically their first impression is great, and then they look at your face and see the message that you want to deliver.
In other words, there's certain colors that I wouldn't dare wear, like like yellows and light colors.
Right.
Darker colors would enhance, and then the color of your eye. If you have blue eyes, I'm light skinned, so I have to be really careful on what I wear.
Correct. Yeah. So, example for what I'm wearing today. So I've got dark hair, I've got dark skin, I've got dark eyes. Well, I'm what's called in the clothing business is a high contrast individual. So again, the whole point is to lead the viewer's eye towards your face. So I've got dark hair. So typically I wear something dark on the outside. And I've got a white shirt on, right, that has very high contrast that leads the viewer's eye towards my face. And then even the tie I'm wearing, right, the dark stripes in here pick up my dark eyes.
Yeah.
So that's really how you dress, and that's where a lot of guys don't understand that. They think they'll go in someplace and they'll just think, well, I need this and need that. But so it's not really what you're wearing, but why are you wearing it? And that's where a lot of people really kind of miss the mark, and they don't know why they're wearing what they're wearing. Or so, for example, with your blue eyes, you can't have enough blue shirts in your closet, right?
Right.
You've got a little pink in your skin, so pink shirts look great on you. Pink and blue shirts look great on you. So there are a lot of things that look good on you that may not
Right.
look good on me, and vice versa.
Makes sense. Now, with all that's going on in the last year, where businessmen are traveling less, they're doing more virtual meetings, they're doing more Zoom calls, they're doing less face to face. How have you adapted your business to that reality?
Yeah. Well, one of my rules that I have is that whether you're meeting somebody virtually or face to face, nothing really changes. Number one, you should have great equipment, like you do. You've got, great camera, good speaker system, so you're not having to wear headphones or your earbuds. My rule of thumb is you dress no differently for a virtual meeting than you would for an in-person meeting. So today, just like we're dressed today, it was the same thing you dress for a virtual meeting. Now, since you're only going to be seen really from the waist or from the table, the waist up, you want to make sure that you're wearing something that's like you have a great shirt on, you've got a jacket. So if you're meeting a new client, I would still wear. If I was meeting a new client virtually today, I would wear what I'm wearing. Right. So nothing changes.
Right.
But you want to separate yourself from everybody else out there. So my rule is just have really great shirts. Great shirts, things that like I have like little colored buttonholes on my little color through my buttonholes.
Yeah.
Little details that make a big difference that you're not going to really stand out, but people are going to say, oh, there's something a little bit different about you. So shirts and what you're wearing, that kind of sets you apart on a virtual call from somebody else that maybe dress a lot more casual if they're working from home. So
share with the audience your shirt has the little
my monogram is right here. So back in the day, a lot of people, your monogram, a lot of guys put it here, your left cuff or your left chest.
Right.
But this is really, the left waist is where back in the day, 20s, 30s, 40s, when men dressed impeccably, Cary Grant, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., that's where a lot of guys wore their monogram, because you don't want it in your face, you want it very subtle, so someone kind of sees it and says, wow, what is that? So that's kind of the reaction you want. You don't want people to think that, well, it's a little bit more ostentatious wearing it on your cuff or your chest.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So if someone were to get, like, who's your ideal client? That's a good question.
Yeah, ideal clients for me are highly visible guys that need to make a great impression based on their appearance, right? Just had one of my recent clients, he's doing a lot of podcasts, he's doing a lot more presentations, he's raising money for his company. So that's a great client, or anybody that just wants to upgrade their image, right? They're not sure what to wear, they're not sure what message they want to send, they just need some help. So that I want to be a subject matter expert and a trusted advisor to my client. But an ideal client is someone that really wants to make an investment. They know that their image is very important in what they do day to day, and they want to take that seriously.
You just made a great point. You said something there that caught me, and that was you're a subject matter expert, meaning you're advising, you're not pushing and selling. What's the difference?
Yeah, I worked for a company that was in the men's clothing business for a long time, and I really got tired of being a salesman and a peddler. And for example, if you bought some clothing from me and I'm delivering your clothing, I was constantly selling you, oh, here's some belts, here's some ties, and I really got tired of doing that. I really wanted to be seen as a trusted advisor and like a subject matter expert and a true consultant. So that's why I ended up leaving that company, and I started my own business. So instead of my relationships being a mile wide and an inch deep, now they're a mile deep and an inch wide. And you build that way. When you build that relationship, then when people are ready for something, they'll call you, and I'm not constantly calling them.
Got it. And the proper pronunciation of your last name is
Fonseca.
Fonseca.
Yeah.
Fonseca. So Mark, if somebody were to get in touch with you, if they saw this video and they're interested in what you had to say and want to learn more about what you do and how you might be able to help them, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Reach me on email. It's mbf, Mark Brian Fonseca, at dresstheman.com. or they can just reach out and give me a call, 404-983-4121 on my mobile, or they can go to my website, which is www.dresstheman.com.
Perfect. Thanks for meeting with me today.
Chris,
Enjoyed
was
it.
great. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank
Thanks.
you so
Have
much.
a great one.
All right, you too.